Hello and welcome to Walter Doodle's Art. I am Walter, and I really want to thank you for spending some time watching my video. If you would like, and please share and subscribe. I'm really trying to make a go of this YouTube channel, and I'll probably start doing Rumble a little more as well. But anyway, I'm doing another charcoal drawing here. I've been meaning to do at least one piece of art a week, and I missed it by a couple days this time around, but that's okay. In the first week I actually got 2 videos. This one, obviously you can tell what it's going to be very quickly. It's again another try at throwing a bunch of chaos on the paper and pulling some realism out of it. And I found out very quickly that I wasn't getting the chaos that I wanted in the first day. This drawing took 2 days for me to do. I used black pan charcoal, vine charcoal, and vine willow charcoal, and I also used white pastels, which is basically chalk of a fine grade. I did find something interesting about this. First of all, it was in 2 days. I did this on some cold press watercolor paper instead of charcoal or pastel paper, and one of the interesting things I found out was, boy, does that like to hold on to the charcoal really heavy. And I found that my kneadable eraser, which I used for highlights, for softening up some of the charcoal, was getting fairly useless. In fact, I found out also that I had pretty much used up that kneadable eraser. I've used them mostly for drawing in pencil, but when you are doing a bunch of erasing with charcoal, they dirty up very quickly. Thank God I had more of those. I have quite a few kneadable erasers because I can see if I continue on with these experiments of mine in charcoal, I'm going to be going through a lot of them. I've never done an elephant before, and whenever I'm on a new type of subject matter than what I've ever done, I will always use a reference photo. In this case, it is a photo of another drawing, not that this thing looks like that drawing. My art never really comes out looking like either the photograph I'm using or the artwork that I'm drawing from. I just don't try to do that. I also found out that never having done an elephant, in fact I don't draw many animals. I think I'm going to spend some time doing that though. My sense of proportion is not the same as when I'm drawing a portrait of human or something like that. So there is a lot of correction, a lot of changes. And when I got down to the end of the drawing, I like this drawing. I think it came out okay. I'm not in love with this drawing. It still looks fairly similar to what I have done in the past as far as what I was aiming for, but I did not throw the chaos down early enough and just keep that chaos going in the first day. So when I came back to it in the second day, and it was only over 2 days that I did this. I didn't put a bunch of days in between. I did, the first one was on Saturday night, the second one was on Sunday night, and when I came back to it on Sunday night, I looked at it and I'm going, okay, I'm going to really throw some chaos at this picture. Here we are in Sunday night now. And you'll start seeing that I will just throw, tons of charcoal on here and just scribble scratches everywhere. And with that, I start using some of the white charcoal and start pulling out more of the detail with those things. This was an interesting project for me. I enjoyed it. Again, like I say, I'm not really in love with this drawing, but I do like it. Um, and when I was looking at the drawing, there's not the wrinkles in it that I put in. I really went to town with the wrinkled skin. I also realized, and I had this right from the beginning when I started this drawing, I really didn't want to do a bull elephant. I didn't want to have to deal with the tusks. Like I said, I've never done an elephant before, and this was just something I didn't want to get myself in trouble with. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun. I do love charcoal. It's one of my favorite mediums to work with. I will say that working on the cold press watercolor paper is a bit of a challenge. Here I am trying to get this eraser working, and it just wasn't the same. I showed a little quick bit there where there was the dark eraser. This is a newer eraser, and it was working better. So I did fill up that old eraser. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy this drawing. I know that it's not exactly what I had in mind, but it approaches pretty close to what I had in mind. And I may do another elephant. I do know this: I don't redo. If I'm not really happy with a drawing I had done, I'm not going to redo it. This one, like I said, I'm happy, but it's not exactly like I'm thrilled, overjoyed with it. But it still turned out pretty good. It's a fairly large drawing. I'm not exactly sure what the dimensions are. It's a half sheet of the cold pressed Arches watercolor paper, about 120-pound paper. I actually started drawing this one on mulberry paper. I thought the color of the mulberry paper would really make a neat drawing, but I found out that it's so thin. The minute I started trying to do any erasing or really any heavily scrumbling, that paper didn't hold up, and it ripped through, and I wasn't very far into it, thank God. I would hate to have spent 40 minutes to an hour working on it just to all of a sudden have the paper completely fail on me like it did. That's really made more for Sumi art. It's a Japanese paper. So I went ahead and I did not want to use one of my pastel papers for that. I could get them in a different color and stuff, but the reason I had chosen that colored paper to begin with was because of the inconsistency of the paper. It was just so random, kind of a deep gray color, well, medium gray color, but it had these dark pieces of wood in it, and that's where it got ripped when I was going over there, and some of those little chunks of the mulberry wood were standing up above the rest of the paper, and the paper was thin. Not tissue thin, but thin enough. This, of course, 120 pounds, that's plenty thick. I found one of the interesting things on this, working with this paper, is it accepted so much charcoal so quickly that there were times I actually got to a point where it wasn't going to accept much more charcoal. And I'd have to take a few steps, such as blending some stuff out, blowing away, things like that, so that I could put a little bit more down. And here you already see that I've used some white charcoal to put in the highlights. Earlier on, in the first day, I had taken and with my hand I smeared charcoal all over the paper, so there was a little tone there. I did that knowing I was going to use some white charcoal as I went on. And then the white charcoal would really pop, and you can see that here and there. And there'll be more white charcoal, and there you really see it on that leg, the front leg there. You'll see more on the forehead, around the eyes, things like that. I did not know what I was going to do with the background, but I just scribbled in some quick lines just so there was some kind of background there. One of the hard things I did have a problem with here was how do I get the dark parts dark enough and yet hold interest? And that was a matter of this where it really veered away from the original photo that I was using. I really played around with that, changing things around. And that eye on the left hand side, I had trouble with for quite a while, and this is the part of it that I never was fully satisfied with, and made me go from being happy with the drawing to being thrilled with the drawing would have been get that eye correct, and I never really felt like I did. But that's okay. I'm still wanting to get my video out, so I will even take it when I'm not as happy as I could have been with it. Again, I use a lot of my finger for blending. I use a lot of that soft palette knife for blending. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching my video. I hope you did like it. Please give me a like and a share, and subscribe to my channel. I also love your comments. Anyway, this is Walter, and with Walter Doodles Art, saying goodbye, God bless, and I love you.